Look, Tilly.
Timmy cried, his eyes sparkling with excitement. He held up a jumble of tubes, wires, and a plastic lemon.
It's my amazing lemonade machine.
Tilly, a sleek black cat with a mischievous glint in her eye, yawned dramatically.
Another one, Timmy? Don't tell me this one actually makes lemonade?
Timmy, ignoring her sarcasm, adjusted a pair of goggles perched on his nose.
It's going to be incredible, just watch.
With a mischievous grin, he slammed his foot down on a big red button. The machine sputtered, coughed, and then erupted with a loud bang. It was as if the entire contraption had decided to throw a fizzy tantrum. The sound echoed through the room, startling everyone within earshot. Lemonade geysered into the air, showering Timmy and Tilly in a sticky, citrusy torrent. The liquid shot up like a fountain, drenching everything in its path. Timmy tried to shield himself with his arms, but it was no use. The lemonade was relentless.
Whoa, this is crazy.
Timmy shrieked, wiping lemon pulp from his face. He could feel the sticky residue clinging to his skin, making him grimace. It was a mess, and he knew it would take ages to clean up. Tilly, soaked and shivering, glared at him. Her fur was matted with lemonade, and she looked like a drenched rat. She was not amused by the situation at all.
I told you it wouldn't work. This was a terrible idea from the start.
She sputtered, shaking lemonade from her fur. Each shake sent droplets flying in all directions, adding to the already chaotic scene. The room was a disaster. Lemonade dripped from the ceiling, formed sticky puddles on the floor, and even clung precariously to Tilly's whiskers. The once tidy space now looked like a citrusy war zone. The air was thick with the sweet, pungent scent of lemons. It was overwhelming, almost suffocating. The mist hung in the air, making it hard to see clearly. It was a scene of utter chaos and confusion.
Uh-oh, this is not good.
Timmy mumbled, surveying the scene. The kitchen floor was a disaster zone, with lemonade spreading in every direction. He grabbed a nearby towel and attempted to mop up the spreading pool of lemonade, but it was no use. The towel quickly became soaked, and the sticky mess seemed to grow larger with every swipe. The mess was spreading faster than he could clean it. It was as if the lemonade had a mind of its own, determined to cover every inch of the floor. Tilly, meanwhile, had resorted to licking the lemonade off her fur. She looked up at Timmy with a mix of annoyance and confusion, her fur matted and sticky.
This better not attract ants. I don't want to deal with that too.
She grumbled, her tongue working furiously. The sticky lemonade was proving to be quite a challenge for her as well. Timmy, his clothes dripping, grabbed a bucket and sponge. He knew he needed to act fast before the situation got even worse.
Don't worry, Tilly. We can clean this up. We just need to work together.
He just hoped that they could get it all cleaned up before his parents came home. The thought of them walking in to see the sticky disaster made his stomach churn. His parents wouldn't be home anytime soon, but he knew he couldn't waste any more time. The clock was ticking, and the mess wasn't going to clean itself.
Suddenly, a loud meow echoed from the open window. It was so loud that it startled everyone in the room. The sound was unmistakable. It was Mr. Whiskers, the notorious Persian cat from next door.
"What in the world is going on here?" Timmy exclaimed, his eyes wide with confusion and a hint of fear. He had never heard Mr. Whiskers meow like that before.
Mr. Whiskers, the grumpy Persian cat from next door, perched on the windowsill. His eyes were fixed on something inside the room, and his tail flicked back and forth with agitation.
"What in the world is going on here?" Timmy repeated, more to himself this time as he tried to make sense of the situation.
Mr. Whiskers grumbled, his nose twitching at the strong smell of lemonade. The scent was irresistible, and despite his grumpy demeanor, he couldn't help but be drawn to it.
Oh no, Mr. Whiskers, wait! Timmy shouted, reaching out to stop the cat. He knew that the lemonade machine was still malfunctioning and could be dangerous.
Before Timmy could stop him, Mr. Whiskers, lured by the sweet scent, hopped onto the table and took a tentative lick of the lemonade-covered machine. The machine, which had been sparking earlier, seemed to hum ominously as the cat approached. The remaining charge in the machine sparked, sending a jolt of electricity through Mr. Whiskers. The cat's body stiffened, and his fur began to stand on end as the shock coursed through him.
Yow! Mr. Whiskers let out a yowl that echoed through the house, a sound so piercing that it made Timmy cover his ears.
His fur stood on end, and he let out a yowl that could curdle milk. The poor cat looked terrified, his eyes wide with shock and his body trembling. Timmy rushed to his side, hoping to comfort him and make sure he was okay. The room was filled with the smell of burnt fur and lemonade, a combination that would forever remind Timmy of this unexpected and shocking event. Just then, the front door swung open and Timmy's mom walked in.
Timmy, Tilly, I'm home.
Her eyes widened as she took in the scene. Timmy and Tilly drenched in lemonade. The kitchen looking like a citrus bomb had exploded, and a very frazzled-looking Mr. Whiskers perched on the table.
Timmy!
His mom exclaimed, her voice a mixture of amusement and exasperation.
What have you been up to?
It's not what it looks like, Mom. I can explain.
His mom, shaking her head and fighting back a smile, surveyed the chaos.
Well, it seems like you've had quite the adventure.
Just a little one.
Timmy said, wringing out his lemonade-soaked shirt.
There's always tomorrow.
Tilly, now mostly dry, sauntered over to rub against his mom's legs. And with that, Timmy knew that his adventures, however messy or chaotic, were far from over.